What's going on, homies? Welcome to the Crack Soccer Podcast, episode number 21. Dang, we're of age. We're of age for drinking, Fern. Pretty amazing.
We've been of age for 3 years in Europe.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Nice.
Yeah, now we can drink in the U.S.
Yes, exactly. Welcome to episode 21. In today's podcast, we're going to be talking about Mexico, El Tri, winning the Gold Cup. Congratulations to them. Was it rightfully deserved? Was it not? Was it against the USA's B team? Was this really a good win for them? Is this good things to come for the 2026 World Cup? Maybe, maybe not. We'll find out. Also, some Club World Cup action. Semifinals coming up. Finals around the corner. So we'll keep track of the Club World Cup and also some MLS action. MLS Week Matchday 22. We'll go over some recap from that, and then we'll also go into MLS Match Week 23, as well as some U.S. Open Cup games going on this week, the quarterfinals of the U.S. Open Cup. Not going to want to miss it. Episode number 21, the Crack Soccer Podcast. Bang, bang. Boom. Had to get the intro in, had to get it done. Fern, how we feeling, my guy?
Good, chilling. Just was looking at, I'm add a new jersey to the collection, a fourth one. I don't know if you saw the new Barca kits that are coming out, but they're looking pretty nice. So just thought I'd point it out.
You like them? Do you like the new ones?
Yeah, the home jerseys look pretty sick.
I thought they looked a little too much purple.
You think so? I don't know. I think they look fine. Let's see.
But it'll be nice to have another Barcelona jersey, I'm sure, into your collection.
Yeah. I mean, the, what do you call it? The freaking like blending of it does kind of give it, but I don't know. I like it.
I think it was the FC Barcelona jerseys. I don't remember what year it was, but I remember when they came out with one, and it was very closely related to like Microsoft PowerPoint's like backgrounds, and everybody roasted them for that. Do you remember that? It was probably like 2015, 16, 14, maybe even earlier than that, 2012. But I remember something like that, and people were like roasting them for, having the Microsoft PowerPoint background. I thought it was kind of funny. But
I can't think of what the Microsoft PowerPoint is. That's probably why I can't think of it.
It was just like a generic, like two-tone, kind of like gradually blends, the whole ombre look. Anyways,
yeah. And then they are releasing some Kobe jerseys, apparently, because they're like teaming up with them. So they look pretty sick. So you guys will probably see some more stuff in my collection here in a little bit. Unfortunately, nice. More Barca, no other stuff.
Madrid. Nice. Okay. Well, perfect. Sweet. I think to kick things off, I think everybody's a little bit interested in seeing what the leaderboard looks like. Fern, why don't you do us the honors here and showcase the leaderboard and where we're at?
All right, guys. It's been a good couple weeks for me, so I've been
What the heck is this?
I've been popping off. I don't know what happened. I just happened to be going crazy.
Fern with 338 points. What the heck is going on?
I don't know, man. That's just the way the cookie crumbles.
I didn't even know there was 338 points. That were 338 games that were being played. Dude. Jeez.
Yeah, I just had to. I brought myself back to reality. Don't worry.
Dang.
Because I was looking at it and I'm like, I don't know. That seems kind of like a lot. No, maybe I forgot to put myself some points.
Yeah, but I mean, there is a pretty big gap at this point. Like that's pretty insane. So yeah, it looks like I'm still up top with 137. Lopez with 132. It's only 5 points behind, which really, I mean. Any week any week he can take it.
I think this week you guys each had 7 and I had 5.
Okay.
So, I mean, I did get the LA Galaxy winning. My main thing was kind of going for those, these guys should win, but maybe these guys are going to win this week. So
Yeah, and I think that kind of happened with a couple of the games. If you kind of look at it, like who would have thought San Diego would have lost some points there? Who would have thought Vancouver would have lost some points? Like, there's definitely some games here and there that
I thought Vancouver would lose points.
I mean, sure, obviously, but I think most people wouldn't have thought that way. And then, the almost comeback from St. Louis with Russell Lake, which was kind of nuts. But yeah, there was a couple of good games in Match Week 22. So, 7 correct for me, 7 correct for Lopez. Would you say 5 for you?
Mm-hmm.
5?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, how far are you off from? So, 10, 12, 14?
Like 20?
14 from
14? Oh,
Lopez.
14. Yeah.
Yeah, and then almost 20 to me. So
Yeah.
yeah, you got a little bit of ground to make up, man. But hey, how many? We're getting close to the end here, fellows.
It's,
Like we're getting close. Like
yeah.
I think what
I
it's
don't
one
I
more
don't I
almost
don't
one more
even think
month.
it's like possible to, unless I get like every like and get some extra points here and there, cuz like I'm saying, like I picked the Chicago Fire, I picked Philly, I picked New England, and those were kind of like the ones I was like, "Oh, I feel like Cincinnati might win, but Chicago's not a bad team." Philly and Nashville was kind of hard to,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
It's a tough one. Yep.
pick. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I've seen crazier things happen. I've seen Barcelona come back and win 7-1. Maybe I can do it too.
There you go, man. That's the spirit. But yeah, I mean, I guess you have a little bit of time. We're currently in round 20. That was round 21, 22.
3.
So it'll be match week 23, which is kind of weird because if you look at FOTMob, it says round 22. So I know there's been a
Yeah.
couple of things like moving around here and there, but if you look at it like by round, I guess there's like 34 or so. Yeah, 34, which would probably be 35 if you're kind of like thinking about it.
Well,
So
if you click on the Wednesday game for Miami, it says round 5 on it. So because obviously they've missed a few
right,
weeks,
yeah,
so we'll see. So yeah,
yeah. So it's going to be a little bit interesting with the numbering here and there, just because of all the in season tournaments. But there's
yeah,
still some time. I mean, until October. It looks like from what I'm reading, Saturday, October 18th will be like the last regular season game. So plenty of time left. You still got a couple months. Like you never know what'll happen. So
Well, I'm just like, I don't know, because like obviously you guys probably didn't notice, but on the posts that I post, sometimes like I put like the 19th match day when it was like the 20th, but
right.
some I see some people doing it too. Like they're like, oh, match
Oh,
day
for sure.
22, and then the MLS says match day 23. So I guess I'm just gonna
Hmm.
have to listen to what they say.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
think
just
they're
going
right
off of
though.
what the MLS says because at the end of the day, they're the ones that kind of doing it.
They
But
don't even
like,
know what they're doing.
yeah, who knows what the hell they're doing? But it's just the whole in season
Hmm.
tournaments and bye weeks here and there, and like doing all this other stuff. So it throws everything off, which makes sense. But yeah, we'll keep the leaderboard updated. We'll kind of keep our thoughts and prayers for Fern to kind of get back on the leaderboard. But
Pray for me.
I will not be. So I'm gonna just try to keep getting them all correct here. So
But don't I get the extra 10 points for the Galaxy one?
no,
Oh,
no. That was a rule you made up, so no. Anyways, that was the leaderboard. If you guys have some picks that you agree with or don't agree with, let us know on our social media, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. Let us know. We'd love to kind of hear your thoughts and kind of who you guys have winning week over week. Honestly, we should probably at this point start getting into like some betting potentially. Should we, open up DraftKings underdog type of a deal? Like, let us know if you guys do any sort of MLS or soccer betting, and maybe we'll take a look. Take a
hmm.
look into it. Hmm?
I'll
What do
give
you
you
think,
my
Fern?
money. I've given them enough of my money.
I think it'd be fun, man. We'll just kind of
Yeah,
see what we do.
make the picks worth it for us on our end.
Exactly,
We'll use
exactly.
Reyes' money, and I'll make the picks.
Okay, I think I'll make the picks. But perfect. We'll kind of see. We'll keep track of those, and then now we'll go right into the next segment here. Our correct performances of the week. I'm gonna start us off. I'm gonna kick it off with the first one here. My correct. Here we go. Hold on one second. My correct player of the week. I'm gonna have to give it to Mr. Paintsil, Mr. Joseph Paintsil, my guy. I had to crack one open for him because I feel like last week he listened to me. I kind of pointed it out and I said, "Yo, bro, like you really need to figure it out and kind of get some more shots on target, kind of get some goals in here because he has so many opportunities to score." And he doesn't, and it's always so frustrating because he's always there. He's in the right place, right time, but he just cannot finish, right? So I called him out a little bit. I feel like I called him out yesterday or last week on the podcast, and he listened because now in this last game against the number one team in the Western Conference, the Vancouver Whitecaps, he gets a brace for the LA Galaxy. He gets a 9.1 player rating. 4 out of the 5 shots were on target. So he definitely helped this team. He helped the LA Galaxy get this win. He Sure, one of them was a penalty. Say what you will about that, but at the end of the day, yes, he tacks on two to his name for the 2025 season. Helps LA Galaxy be within striking distance of not being in last place of the Western Conference. So, good on you, man. Good on Joseph Paintsil. Thank you for listening. Thank you for kind of putting some goals behind the net. And yeah, man. I mean, strong performance for him. So, had to give it up to him. So good on him.
Yeah, it's nice to see the LA Galaxy players like actually being able to do something and like make the games interesting. And maybe this is what they needed because who's the freaking Nascimento, their striker, the other guy that scored. I just feel like they haven't had anybody up top that's able to score for them. Peck has been that guy in the past. He hasn't been playing very well. And when you have players, I mean, Joseph Paintsil, obviously he can score. He was injured for the first half of the season. So it's nice to have for the LA Galaxy to have somebody back that can finish. Like you said, penalty. I mean, a penalty is a penalty. Like there's still some mind games that go to it. It's
for sure
not as easy as people make it seem. The pros make it look easy, but it's not that easy. So
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, they still got a good team, and like you said, I'm just glad that they can, they get this win. They had that one win against RSL. They had a couple others here that they could have won, right? They could have won against St. Louis and a couple other teams where it was really close. But I'm just glad that they haven't given up at this point, right? They haven't given up on the season. They haven't taken everybody out. I think the only person that really they probably shouldn't have to worry about anymore is really just Puig, right? I honestly like the way that he's kind of recovering. Just let him sit out the rest of the season. I would say,
Yeah, even if they make it to the playoffs, I don't see them making a big run to it.
Yeah,
to the playoffs. So just let them rest the entire year if you even get there. Let somebody else develop some more of those midfielders that you have, maybe even some more attackers. The bright side of it all, like I'm saying now, is you can kind of experiment a bit with your team. And then I guess that's a bit of the nice thing of not having to worry about relegation is you can kind of bring some of those players out that you wouldn't normally play because either the games are too close, the games are too important, stuff like that. But now they can just get those players out and start giving them some more experience. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so good on you, Paintsil. Cracking one over for you, my guy. And then going into my cracked game of the week. I had a couple of them here. I had two. I'm gonna kind of use this one for kind of rolling off of with Paintsil, and then I'll get into the other one that I kind of had. But LA Galaxy. I mean, LA Galaxy versus Vancouver. Nobody other than Fern would have thought that LA Galaxy would have beat Vancouver 3-0, nonetheless, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Like I said to Lopez last time, some dumbass thought they thought they were gonna win. So I'll be the dumbass this week.
Exactly. So that was just kind of crazy for me, to be honest. I mean, they did get that goal right 2 minutes in. Nascimento, I think it was his first. Was it his first goal of the season? I believe it probably was.
I'll check right now. I'm on the game currently, so let's see.
Yeah. So it was either his first.
It's second.
Okay, second.
The first game was against St. Louis.
Okay, it might have been like his first home game goal, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, started off super hot, right? Second minute, scoring in that game, and then obviously LA Galaxy, right, kind of dominating in terms of possession, having plenty of shots, and really only holding Vancouver to a one scoring opportunity, which is not easy to do. I think there's still a few people here and there that were out for Vancouver, like Berhalter, like White. They weren't obviously on the team, but they did have Nelson back. Jaden Nelson was back, and he obviously picked up a red card at the very end of the game, which bitter ending for them. But I'm just glad they won, right? I mean, I'm glad that they're kind of winning. Like I said, they haven't been, they're down, but they're not out. They kind of keep fighting. They keep fighting for this crowd. And just making sure that the fans know, like, hey, we're not doing very well this season, but we're going to just continue to press and do what we got to do to win some of these games. So hats off to you, LA Galaxy, and this game, just for giving them a good amount of goals and getting a win. So
yeah, it's also the best time to see who the real fans are. the ones that were celebrating so much last year should also be able to celebrate the small wins that they have this year. So
yeah, exactly. So it's cool to see, man. That one was basically mine. I do want to have a special little shout out, another correct game, if you will, for Houston versus San Diego FC. Not sure if you saw this one, but this one was very, highly high scoring game, right? This one might be our friend Chino, which is not here today. This one might have been probably close to what his correct game would have been. But a 4-3 game. Houston Dynamo kind of getting the win off of this one, but they got it done at the very end of the game, right? So if you kind of look at this game, I believe the first goal was scored by San Diego in about the 25th minute, and then Houston comes back 36th minute. They also kind of get the head up right going into halftime, making it 2-1, and then San Diego comes in 54th and 67th with those second and third goals, so they're basically up 3-2 at this point. And then I think it was 87th minute
and then
penalty,
90 plus 10.
yeah, and then 90 plus 10 with Ponce just going after him and getting it done for Houston. So hats off to Houston to get this done. Not only beating the number 1 ranked team in the Western Conference, but also doing it in Snapdragon Stadium in San Diego. So what a game, what a comeback. And yeah, hats off to these guys, because San Diego really just kind of outplayed them the whole time, and they just they didn't go down without a fight. So that was a really cool game to see. Really, really cool game to kind of get a chance to shake up the leaderboard over there in the Western Conference. So that was fun. That was a cool game for sure. So that's another correct game for me. Watch this guy right here. Watch this right here.
Oh yeah, I did see that goal.
He's just hauling,
bro.
He's
just
hauling,
freaking
bro.
Takes
He's
off.
hauling. Look at this.
Boom.
Jeez.
I believe
Dude.
that was his first start too, like of his MLS career or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, I saw something about him scoring, and I'm gonna double check, but if it wasn't his first start, it was like his first goal in his MLS career, but it was one of his firsts.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. So that was Enali.
Lawrence
Enali. Lawrence Enali. Yeah, he's German. Dang,
Yeah.
dude. 23 years old. He's playing the winger position, and this guy's got a pace of 99. Like, what a holy smokes, man! The guy turned on the Jets. That was also cool to see in that game, so I had to kind of shout that one out because that was pretty sweet. Homie just hauled. What a beast.
Reminds me of me.
Yep, you and your Tuesday League teams, bro. Kind of crazy.
Yeah. Hey, we've had 2 weeks off last week, and I thought we were playing tomorrow. We don't play this week, so you guys won't get any updates. But those 2 weeks off, man, that's what we need to bounce back. Because did I tell you guys how bad we lost last time?
I mean, you told me you guys lost pretty bad. I think the first or second week.
We lost the first and second week, but the third week was the bad week. So I was telling everybody we lost 12-2. But I looked up the score and it was 13-2. But then the week after we won 2-1, so that was our first dub.
Jeez, man.
Feeling like freaking the LA Galaxy right now. So hey, and I scored a goal there, so I was part of the help.
We need some film. We need some film here to kind of study.
Yeah, I'll have to get something filmed this next week so I can show you guys. Maybe post it on the socials, or we can do a breakdown of my game so Reyes can tell me what I'm doing right or wrong. So
there you go, dude. We'll have to take a look.
Yes,
yeah, sweet. Perfect. And then to end off my part here, I'm going to pour one out. DC United, Atlanta United. Holy smokes, man. 0-0 game. Nothing fun about it. What a snooze fest. You guys, I mean, DC United's honestly a little bit in trouble, I feel. They just haven't been playing well whatsoever these past, 5 or 6 or so weeks that they've kind of had recently, but just kind of in general, they've been playing pretty bad. But this game, I think there was one major chance this entire game.
On Atlanta United side.
Yeah, so really there was not much going on throughout this entire game. And I think I watched, that one technically shot on target, and it really wasn't this might go in. It was honestly pretty mediocre. And then most every other shot that was taken in this game just kind of looked like it was going way off, every single time. So I feel like, what happened? Remember what happened when Messi didn't play against Houston and everybody got super mad? So Houston refunded tickets. Yeah, that's what these guys are gonna do. What is it? An Audi Field, so DC United. You guys got to refund some tickets here because 0-0 game with really no action whatsoever. Like, time to refund some tickets. So
I know the Atlanta player. I know the Atlanta players were excited to go back home so they can get some real action at Magic City.
Yeah. Bang bang, exactly, man. But yeah, pouring one out for that game because it was just a big giant snooze fest. So nothing fun, nothing exciting on that one. It is what it is, man. Can't win them all. But that's my crack performances. Fern, I'm gonna give that over to you. Let us know, my guy.
Before I get into mine, I just want to give Lopez his time to shine.
There you go.
Just for a little bit before I take over. But his cracked player of the week was Ezekiel Ponce. So he had 2 goals and 1 assist, and you can clearly tell I did not do my job properly because it says he's the MLS top goal contributions, which he is not. That is still Dryer.
I was gonna say, probably Dryer still.
Yeah, but I literally, as I pulled it up, I'm like, oh, what the heck? I did not take that off. But yeah, I don't know. So shout out to Lopez's crack player. It's
shout out to Ponce. Ponce. Shout out to you, Ponce. Way to get the dub in. They were in what?
San Diego.
San Diego. That's right. Yep.
Yeah, you just talked
about it. Get the dub in San Diego. I know. For some reason, I had a brain fart here. Way to go, Ponce. Is he?
Ponce. He is. Yeah, he's an Argentinian that wears the number 10.
Ponce.
Which, speaking of Argentinians that wear the number 10,
my goodness. I'm gonna come over there and shove my foot right up your ass because you always pick Messi.
Nuh-uh.
Dude, yes you do. Have you even changed this? Have you even changed your graphic?
Yes, I have. I swear. I mean, you can't hate though. Like, he came back and he came back with a bang. You know, if you guys don't want him to be my crack player anymore, tell him to stop being good. Okay,
he was the best performer for sure this whole weekend.
Yeah, he was for sure. No, but honestly, yes, I do glaze my boy Messi all the time. And yes, they did play Montreal, which is bottom of the West Coast, wherever they are.
Speaking, I mean, you might go into this, but talk about a scare at the beginning of that game. Montreal coming in hot, scoring 1-0 at the very when did they score? It had to have been
the second
minute. 10 minutes. Yeah, I was like, yo.
Which technically,
can Montreal do it?
If you want to get statistics into it, that should have been an assist for Messi because he's the one that passed the ball back.
No way.
Got scored. They got scored on because of a ball that Messi played back, which honestly I don't think I've ever seen happen.
Jeez.
So that should be 2 assists for Messi. Fix it, MLS, please. Get it on the stat sheets. But no, he played really well. That second goal he had when he took on the players, he did get a lucky bounce towards right in front of the goal. You know, he tried to get around the player and it hit him. But you know, that happens sometimes. Luck is involved in a lot of achievements that some people have in life. But yeah, that was a good performance for him. I think he could have had at least another 3 assists, I would say. What's his name? Let me tell you. I want to say Allende, but I don't think it was Allende. I don't know if you watched the game at all. It was Allende. He plays on the right side. But he was on the completely opposite, on the defensive side, pretty much. Just sends that ball up. Allende gets it, and the goalie just makes an amazing save. And then I think there was 2 balls that he played that honestly probably should have been goals, but the goalie pulled the saves out of his crack or something and just freaking threw them on the table because those were some really good saves. But it definitely could have been 5-7-1 with those passes. But he played really well. Hopefully, for your guys' sake, he doesn't play well next week. But he does have 2 games next week, or this week, I guess. This week. So we'll see how it goes. He has one on Wednesday against, who is it?
New England.
So that might be another crack player performance. And then Nashville, which I have talked about before. I don't know how well you guys know, but I feel I don't know. I see it kind of as a rivalry just because when Messi first came to the MLS, I feel a lot of his good games or like games that I feel like were like really intense were played against Nashville. They beat them in the Leagues Cup final in penalties. I don't know if you saw that or if you remember that.
I forgot that it was against Nashville. That was against Nashville?
Yeah, it was against Nashville.
Interesting.
So, I don't know. I don't know when Messi joined. Was it in 23? The last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is up until the Leagues Cup final. Inter Miami won one. They tied. They tied. Inter Miami won. Inter Miami won. Inter Miami won. And we'll see how this week goes. But it's one of those games, where I feel like Nashville just can't, for whatever reason, seem to get that win over Messi and Inter Miami ever since he's been there. Because before that, I think they had won every single game before that. So
interesting.
Yeah. So that's
good to point out.
Yeah, that'll be a good matchup that we can talk about later.
For sure.
Nice. But my cracked performance goes to a team in Florida, but it's not Miami. It's Orlando versus Charlotte FC. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't want to say it started off slow because they got a goal right before the end of the half in the 40th minute. Charlotte did. And then they kind of came in and got another goal going up 2-0 in the 65th minute, where after that, Orlando kind of got their quick rebound goal in the 69th minute. And with 10 minutes left to play in the game, Orlando got that tying goal. And, I mean, at the end of the day, it sucks to see ties. We always say that, but you just can't hate it when the games are so back and forth. And then obviously after that goal with 10 minutes left in the 80th minute, Charlotte was probably like, "Hey, like we need to focus. Like let's not let them score another one." And then Orlando probably had the same mindset. Okay, we just came back from 2-0. Let's not screw this up. Especially with them having the better stats of the game, so they probably were hoping to get that win, but they weren't able to. So shout out to Charlotte and Orlando for giving us a good game over the break, and I would say kind of the return of the MLS now with all the teams being back from the Club World Cup and whatever else they're doing, and then this coming week, I keep saying coming week, but this week, a lot of the players that were out in the Gold Cup are going to come back to their team. So it'll be nice to see how these teams, how would you say it? Like how they start playing again. Vancouver hasn't been the worst. They did lose to the LA Galaxy, but with having Bert Holter and Brian White back, maybe
and that helps them a lot.
We'll see. Although Brian White was not a starter for the U.S., so
still
but what I'm saying is he had a rest. Will he be able to come back and start producing like he was, given he was kind of on a break per se? But yeah, I'm excited to see. It'll be fun. I feel like these last couple of weeks have been not boring for soccer. There's been a lot of stuff going on, but being an MLS podcast, I feel like it's been a bit dry,
Your top dogs have been taken out of the regular season a little bit, so for sure it's been a little bit drier.
Yeah, so we'll see. It's been weird, like that one week where there was literally no MLS games. I'm like, well, what the heck?
Yeah, that was whack, and we thought there was. It was funny.
Yeah, but yeah, and then lastly, I just wanted to pour one out for our boys out, or our guy out at the City Boys podcast. Once again, I am pouring one out for you and St. Louis, because we basically went head to head, us versus you, and we came out on top.
So, they almost came back and freaking beat us, dude. They almost gave Real
nah. RSL's too good, bro.
Easy. I mean, they got it done without a Diego Luna, which is good, but like, geez, man, you gotta like have that. You gotta have that lead, and then just almost like give it up, basically.
That's
dude.
RSL's memo, though. That's literally what they do. They get you all excited just to break your heart. But we were kind of talking about this prior to starting. St. Louis has, in their last 11 games, they've only won one game, which was against San Jose, which honestly, surprising.
Yeah.
Because prior to that, they beat the Union Omaha. I don't even know who they are.
Yeah, there's a
The
USL
the
team, I
U.S.
think.
Open Cup, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's not looking good, bruv. We keep talking about the LA Galaxy, but they're only 3 points behind St.
Yeah.
Louis now. So we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I
But
think that's what you got to watch out for, right? I think at that
mhm,
point, like you're thinking, okay, look, Galaxy's right on your tails at this point, and they have a good chance of getting 3 points this upcoming
mhm.
weekend, where St. Louis plays a pretty decent Portland Timbers team.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, yes, Galaxy has a favorable matchup coming up here.
Ooh.
They could end up tying, with St. Louis in the Western Conference, depending on how St. Louis plays. But yeah, I mean, at this point, it's like the season isn't over, man. Like, try to get as many points as possible. But St. Louis, you got to figure some stuff out just to kind of,
At this
not be
point, though,
on the very
will it
bottom.
become embarrassing if the LA Galaxy finish above St. Louis, given how bad they started? But I mean, I guess
Maybe I would say
the
so. I would say it's a fail
freaking
for sure.
yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. 3 wins.
Yeah,
They got one extra win over the LA Galaxy, and that's about it.
yeah, we'll
So
see.
yeah, good luck out there, city boys, city boy.
Exactly.
And good luck on the rest of the season. At least you're still there supporting and not switching up on your team. So that's
Exactly.
you can live the rest of your life knowing that you were there when they stung.
Yep. Yeah. They had a couple injuries here and there, and then they just haven't been able to recover. So, hopefully at some point they can, and they won't be in the last. But hey, time is a ticking, and y'all got to figure some stuff out. So we'll
Yes,
see.
sir.
Those were the correct performances of the week of MLS Match Day 22. If you guys agree with some of them, if you disagree with any of them, if you're,
23. No.
no, this upcoming one's 23.
Oh,
This upcoming. This is, from Match Day 22, from MLS Match Day
you're right. Yeah,
22.
my bad. My bad.
If you guys agree with them, don't disagree with them. If you guys had some that maybe we missed, let us know in the comments. We'll kind of hear it and kind of understand your all's perspective and why y'all chose different folks. Yeah, that was the crack performances. Going into some of the major headlines going on, not just with MLS, but just kind of around soccer in general. We will go into some MLS stuff here and there, but I think the major headline that we're all kind of looking at, we all kind of witnessed yesterday, because this is July 7th, Monday, that we're recording this episode. The Gold Cup. USA versus Mexico final. Mexico ends up winning 2-1 against the United States in this pretty, you could call it an epic final, an epic 2-1 final. But when you kind of really look at this game, I don't know if you watched the full game. I watched basically the entire game, but Mexico dominated this whole freaking game. I mean, as soon as the USA scored that first goal, after that it was basically
I don't want to
Mexico
say
the
that
whole
the
game.
U.S. got lucky with their goal because it was a good goal,
Mm-hmm.
but if you watch the entire game, you kind of want to say they got lucky that they even got that one goal, because I feel like if they wouldn't have scored that early, the way it went, it was not close at all. And if Mexico could have put away a few more of their chances, I feel like it could have been a lot worse.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say the
Exactly.
U.S. got a bit lucky that it was only 2-1.
For sure.
And that they were still able to kind of stay in the game with those chances that for some reason the Mexican defenders and goalie were just watching the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, exactly. So I want to get into it a little bit because it was a really good game, just kind of in general to watch though. But just a couple things, before we kind of go into our reaction, we're going to try something new a little bit here. We're going to go into a little bit of a reaction, watch most of this game from some clips. So we'll kind of look into it. But a couple of things, right? A couple of things just to note. Yes, everybody's mentioned this already. Was this the USA's A team? You could argue it wasn't. It was, a bit of a B team. It was a bit of a, some folks that probably won't, not everybody there is going to be in the 2026 World Cup lineup. But I do think there were a lot of players there that likely will get some time in the World Cup, right? But I will say I don't want to take anything away from Mexico and saying that this was the US's B team, right? Because Mexico, yes, was that their A team? Probably. It was likely had everybody that they want to go into next year, which good for them. It's just giving them more time to kind of fine tune like what they need for next year. And now they're going to be even that much more prepared going into the World Cup, right?
You can't be mad that their best players want to play.
Exactly.
Like if they want to play, they're gonna play. If the coach is like, "Hey, I want you to play," and they're like, "Hey, I'm gonna come play," then they will. If like Pochettino didn't want his best players there, then that's on him and not their opponent per se.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, I mean, it was a good game. Obviously, we'll go into it a little bit. We'll watch the highlights. But I just did want to say, that the nice thing about Mexico having their best players is the mistakes that they're making right now. They can be like, look, these are the people that were most likely going to start when the World Cup comes around. Look at the mistakes you're making here. Let's get those mistakes fixed now. We don't want to be making these mistakes a year from now when it actually, not that this doesn't matter, but the World Cup is way bigger, So, shout out to the US for giving a lot of their players more chances, but hopefully they can get their bigger players in there to kind of build chemistry with these new young, not necessarily young, but new up and coming talents for them that they can kind of bring in with their big dogs.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. So yeah, a lot of little things kind of coming up from this game. But if you want to share, just kind of like go into some of this game. We'll kind of go into a good chunk of this. This is a reaction, so we're just going to talk over this. We probably won't have anything too crazy on this, but I did want to go through a couple of things. Just let it roll. At this point, we can just kind of commentate at this point. So, clearly, and this is maybe one thing too, pause it really quick. If you're not familiar, Energy Stadium, this is in Texas, right? So Houston. So is this a U.S. home game? Probably not.
Bro, I just realized it's Energy Stadium. I kept saying NRG.
Oh my
it's
gosh,
Energy.
You gotta be kidding me,
bro.
dude.
What the heck? That's crazy.
You just realized that because I said it.
Yeah.
Dude, you watch the NFL. They always say Energy.
Oh, my bad.
This is where the Texans play, dude. Come on.
I don't have any Texans players on my team. That's why.
You will this year because
actually I did have their wide receiver. What was his name?
Collins is going to be
Collins.
healthy.
Yeah,
he's going to ball out this year.
Yeah, sorry. I'll take him in the first round, so you can't. Okay, sorry. Go.
Anyways, he has been going in the first in some leagues. But anyways, yeah, just kind of going into this really quickly, like you kind of think about, okay, who's going to show up to this game? You're clearly very close to the Mexico border, or close-ish, right? You're going to get a lot of Mexico fans. And I think there was also a comment that Pochettino made. I don't know if you saw that there were a lot of fans there. Yes, it was probably sold out, but most of the fans in this stadium were Mexico fans. Take it how you want. Like, yes, is it because of the place, the stadium? Sure. Is it also maybe because the U.S. national team could be better and they need to build up the fan base again? Yeah, probably. So, a couple different things at play.
Yeah, obviously, I feel like that's the conversation no matter where you go. Like, I literally, people come play if the Mexican national team and the U.S. national team came to play in Utah, per se, I would almost bet that there'd probably be more Mexican fans than U.S. fans. Sure. And just like you said, unfortunately, soccer is not the biggest sport in the U.S., so a lot of people aren't ingrained into the culture. So the U.S. just kind of has to build that. And yes, some of the venues, places are close to the border, but Mexican fans are also very passionate about their team. So if they're coming to play near you, you'll go. The only reason I didn't go to the Mexico game out here in Utah when they played Switzerland was because I had family stuff going on, or else I would have been there. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I mean, it's because I don't think a lot of U.S. fans would, like, if something is going on and then the U.S. game's going on, I doubt a majority of them would choose to go to the U.S. game instead of whatever else is going on in their city. Exactly. So hopefully, you know what? I mean, I hope they start coming more and getting more energy to the U.S. fans because it sucks that most of the time when you see the U.S. fans at their highest is when the U.S. is winning and doing something, instead of like supporting them now when they're trying to build something.
Yeah,
exactly. Be there when they're trying to build something is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, exactly. And this is interesting too because they have Luna playing on the right wing, Berhalter playing in the left wing, where I feel like both of them are a little bit more like they're midfielders. You know what I mean? Like
I feel like Luna would do better like here in the central.
Exactly, and Berhalter's a little bit more of a midfielder as well.
Yeah, I think he plays mostly like DM, kind of, not really, but in the midfield.
Yeah. So that was a little bit interesting. The back line was strong. Reem has been playing very well. Richard's been playing really well. Freeman, Arfston. That back line's honestly very, very strong, but that was a little interesting to see. Just
and
play it.
I know Luna does play on the wing sometimes, but it's usually on the left side, not on the right side. So, and then obviously here's Mora, the 16-year-old youngest.
He's
the youngest Mexican player to ever play, and here obviously you see the first goal.
That one, as soon as I saw this, I was like, that's a goal.
Yeah.
You can could tell from that replay, right? Like, yeah, this is going in. I mean, that was definitely like behind the line, so good on them, right? But that was it. I mean, at this point, like 4 minutes into the game, I was like, dude, sick. Like, okay, awesome. Like, they got a goal. But
Lopez was still at my house when that happened, actually. So,
oh really?
Yeah, we were watching he like put up the game and we were watching it because we had just gotten done with our D&D session. But yeah, we kind of watched him. We were like, oh dang, that's crazy.
You guys are both sad.
Yeah, like,
oh man,
look at that.
I did have and I will say, for those of you that didn't see the clips and stuff, I did have the U.S. winning. Both you guys had Mexico winning.
Yeah,
none of us got the score right, or I guess
I was close.
Yeah, 2-0.
2-0.
I had a 2-1 game, but obviously I had the U.S.
for
winning.
the U.S. Yeah.
But yeah, that was basically it. As soon as that goal was in, I was like, dang. There's more. He's doing very well, man. I mean, it's
bold. So crazy because he was shooting the ball with right foot, left foot, and I'm like, you wouldn't be able to tell, like, just based off the shots he was taking, the passes, you wouldn't even be able to tell, like, what.
Yeah, this ball right here was freaking
that insane. Was a sick ball, and then the shot. I don't know if they'll do the replay, but Reem is right there. He just gets it off perfectly. I don't know.
Dude, I don't know how he doesn't block that.
Yeah, like
dude,
I don't know.
Come on.
I think it's because he kind of came in like with and shout out to our boy Diego Jota, who unfortunately passed away over the week.
R.I.P.
Yeah, but yeah, I think he kind of came in like
See, there. Why did you stop? Like, why would you stop?
Let's go back a little.
Even if he comes in, even if you come in right here, studs up.
Yeah.
Like, if you give him a penalty, you give him a penalty, but it's even like that's more of a chance for him to potentially miss the penalty because Freese is so good at penalties, right? Just come in, come in hard, dude.
You literally just stick your left foot out or something, like not even like towards him, just kind of stick it out forward, just to kind of. But the fact that he kept his feet together is what allowed Raul Jimenez to get that shot off. And it was just a great ball right there, like perfectly onside. Raul waited perfectly just to get. Look at that right there. That's like the perfect. Like I literally saw that, and I'm like, how did he just like perfectly like? I don't know. It's just one of those.
It was a good play. It was solid, and good positioning by Jimenez. I mean, he's always there. He was strong this entire game. I think his presence. He made his presence known in this entire game. Mm-hmm. Like anytime there was like a potential of like a 50-50 duel. He just bodied everybody off. Like he was tough this entire game. So good for him.
The nice thing is too, as you watch like some of these highlights, he's all like, see, look, that was a left-footed shot, and he had shot it right.
He had a good bounce. Did you see it?
Yeah.
That ball bounced, and it just I mean, hell of a stop too. But damn, what a good shot.
But like, watch Raul. Like this. Like, look, this is the balls I'm talking about. Like, why are they just watching this?
I could not believe.
Like, they're literally just.
Believe this.
And then it was the luckiest save too, because it literally headed him and it hit him in the head, and that's the only reason he saved it. If he would have,
Luna too. Oh, I forgot about that one. Jeez, he could have had a good shot there. I don't think the goalie for Mexico played super well.
He's not very good. I don't. Yeah, I honestly, they're lucky that they didn't lose.
That, I'm surprised he didn't come in harder.
Yeah,
what are you
I feel
doing?
like I
What are you
feel
doing?
like he's playing like he's scared. Like I don't know.
Yeah, that was weird.
Um,
That was totally
but
weird.
that so that ball, and then there's another ball here in the second half that's similar, where the defenders they're like expecting. I think they stop because they're expecting the goalie to come out, and the goalie's like too scared to come out for whatever reason.
Interesting. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, but
yeah,
that could have been a goal. That could have easily been a goal. And then
yeah.
the kind of the pileup at the very end with Luna, that could have been a much better shot. That
Ooh,
one was a scary shot too. Yeah,
seeing.
he's a stud, dude.
Have
Yeah, Arfston right here. I mean, that's a
yeah, that was
signature.
this.
Like
Yeah,
that was a really good strike. I was surprised I didn't go in. It could have, if it dipped a little bit harder. It would
yeah.
have been
If he probably had
straight
like
in.
just a little bit more, it probably would have gone in. But that was a
Yeah.
really nice shot. There's also that this one ball on this right side. Here's I don't know, remember what minute it is, but Diego Luna expected his defender to get it, so instead of like dropping back and going for it, oh right here, look, see, he didn't drop down for it, so he left Vega like completely alone,
Yeah,
and luckily
but here's the
Freeze was there to
here's
stop
the
it.
thing. Okay, go back to that one play again. Here's the thing, and this is where there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people calling out Luna right now, and I get it. Like whatever you want to say, Luna to me, he was like one of the better players this entire tournament. So like, good on
Mhm.
him. He played super well. But like, what did we just look at? In okay, and sure, it's second half. They probably made some adjustments, but at the beginning of this game, he was where
Yeah, exactly.
right forward. Like he was
Yeah.
going up, like basically right forward, right mid. Like he was up there, right, and so they had to move him around. They probably said, "Hey, look, you're not. They're keeping you out of this entire game. Like what the hell's going on? They're making Luna play freaking defense."
In my opinion, that's one of the mistakes that I don't know whether that was Pochettino's plan or that's sometimes you have a plan and in the moment it kind of ends up changing
No,
just
this
because of
is
the way things are going.
this is
But like,
that's Mexico's plan.
yeah, and
Mexico
it's
went in
just.
this game and said, "Hey, we need to take Luna out of this freaking game,
But
and we
why
need
is
to
he
make
down
all
here?
these." That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm like. There's no reason for him to be here. He should
Yeah,
be more like up here, especially with 24. Agumain, he
yeah.
was not the best. Diego Luna, he may or may not score for you, but he's gonna be fighting for the balls over here, chasing the defenders, getting them tired. Because I
Mm-hmm.
feel like the defenders were chilling for Mexico. Were chilling for a majority of the game, and yes, Diego Luna loves he's got that stamina. He's gonna run back and forth, but I'm not gonna say that his um best attributes are defensively. Obviously,
No,
that's not why he plays there. So
yeah,
why are you having him defend
because he
Vega
has
right
to.
here? Yeah,
Because he
exactly.
has to. Because these guys are playing. Because Mexico's playing very wide, and so whatever happened in this play beforehand forced Arfston and forced whoever's on left back, which that's De La Torre and that's Arfston. It forced them to go
Uh,
up. Right. Something happened to
yeah.
force them to go up.
Arston was the left back.
Yeah. So something happened where Arfston was forced to play up, which I don't understand why he's going so far up. Like what a weird. You got to understand like positioning a little bit better. But because he was up, Luna has to drop back, right? And I
Yeah,
think that was
exactly.
Mexico's game plan the whole time. Is like, hey, let's pull these defenders, left backs, right backs forward, and then force Luna, force Halter, force these other attacking players to
Hmm.
come back and play defense. And then that way, when they get caught like in some of these high presses where Vega goes up, and it's like dude, they're making Luna play defense, and it's like boom, there you go. Like they're off positioning, they have easier chances to go up. Like this was all in the game plan,
and
guaranteed.
they're also lucky that Freeze had the the thought process to freaking because look at Raul right here. He's going He's gonna go perfectly to this side over here. Vega gets past what's his name?
Arfston.
Arston. He gets past him. He gets kind of like a bit of, or he doesn't even get past him. Why? What the
You know
heck? What
what?
is
You
this
know
guy
what should
doing?
you know what should have happened right here. So pause
Look,
it.
like he's literally just jogging to him
Yeah,
with all
yeah,
this free space. Like, what are you doing?
yeah. Arfston's completely off the mark. De La Torre is off the mark. Like it's really bad. And then Ream tries to kind of go clean it up. You know
Yeah.
what should have happened here though? Because you see, I think that's Mora over there in the back, and then this is, what's his name, Alvarado, Piojo, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What should have happened was right here, Jimenez. He should have pulled right in front of everybody. He should have pulled in front of
Came
Ream,
in this
in
way.
front of came in this way, and he pulls
Came in
Ream,
that way.
and he
Yeah.
pulls who's this guy?
This guy right here?
Freeman. It's
Number
not.
3?
Yeah, it's not Freeman. It's
Number 3?
yeah.
It's Richards. Chris Richards.
He'll pull Ream and Richards, and then these other guys in the back. They could have easily gone in for like a much easier header, and he could have pulled them so easily right there. But
or even like this guy comes back in this way right here, and obviously like after. But I still can't believe this guy's just jogging there. Oh,
yeah, for sure. It's crazy.
Like, why is he like?
Yep, and he just
like
stops.
This guy comes in, and then I'm telling you, like they're lucky that Freese was smart enough to like go out for the ball, because if not, this is a perfect ball to Raul. Because I don't know if they'll show the other angle, but he's literally like perfectly aligned with it, that he would have like been able to score the goal right there. But like these balls,
here we go. Look at this one.
What?
Go back right here. Ooh,
what is that?
That's a penalty. That's a penalty.
No, it's not.
That's a penalty all day for Leo Messi.
Nah, bro. Look at this. He's okay. Let's go back. Let's go back real quick to the wide angle.
Look at
this. Look at this play. No, but
Argentina versus Mexico 1-1. It's a penalty all day against Messi.
No, it's not.
For Messi. All day.
This guy's literally falling, going to plant his hand. The U.S. player's falling this way. There's nobody anywhere nearby that can go and get the ball. And then he just clears it.
If it's Messi or anybody else, it's 100% penalty. But
here's
the thing, that's a hell of a defensive effort, because that was really good.
You need Messi on your team if you want those calls.
Wait, so Messi gets those kind of calls?
Yeah, he deserves them.
Okay.
He's the GOAT.
Okay. Yeah, remember that one next time he gets another Ballon d'Or. But yeah, I mean, obviously I'm not dumb. That's clearly not a penalty, but it's definitely like when you look at it, like not in the setting of the game, you're like, oh, dude, that's a penalty. But hell of a defensive stand right there. Obviously he's gonna lean forward. It is what it is. But play it like a little bit to go, and then if he touched it at all, like right there, the second part, that's a penalty though. Like right there, okay,
like right
penalty.
Here, he gets up,
slipped right there, and it like hits his hand. I mean, there you go.
Because he like obviously like plants as he's coming down. It's just unfortunate that the ball ends there.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I mean, obviously, anytime like your ball or your hand touches the ball, you want to call handball. But that's just unfortunately not the way it works. You know, because for example, obviously this is different. He's falling forward, but like if you're playing and you have your hands like this, and just whenever your hand touches the ball, if that's an automatic penalty, then even if you have your hands like this, like not in the way, and it touches your hand inside the box, they could call that a penalty. Yeah. So obviously they have, and then everybody has different rules for whatever, like the CONCACAF. Oh, actually, I was gonna play it, but I just remember what happens right here. So let me finish my train of thought. So everybody has their own separate rules. FIFA, CONCACAF, and then Messi. Whatever Messi. It's fine. I won't be rage baited today. So yeah, that's just how it goes. Unfortunately, sometimes things like this happen in finals, but that's why they have rules for a reason. Yeah. Look at this.
Oh man,
I was so mad. I was so excited.
I honestly thought it was offsides.
It did, honestly.
It looked
because the commentators were talking about it, and they're like,
because he's offsides. Whoever he is.
Yeah, but this is the first ball. So
no, I know, but that's why I thought in my head it was offsides.
Honestly, because it looks off. They did show a different angle from like over here, but obviously it all matters on angles, because like I don't know
he's
what.
Clean.
Like,
that's clean to me.
Yeah, because what's the new rule that whatever part of your body you can score with, if that's on sides, it's on sides. Because obviously
I don't know if CONCACAF's doing that. But
because obviously his hand technically couldn't be offsides because he can't score with it. Yeah. But this is as close as it gets. If you want to, obviously you can't see this guy's body, but he does seem like he's closer to this line.
Well, it looks like his leg is past the line.
Yeah, like he's like kind of stepping over here.
His leg, yeah.
So I mean, I will say I hate CONCACAF's VAR. I feel like obviously the World Cup, FIFA, Europe, they have a better system where they can kind of like show. Like the dummies or whatever they use for it. And obviously this is them going crazy after the goal was ruled onsides.
But yeah, it would have been
So
interesting to see in the different system because, like, in a different system, like, I mean, you've pointed it out too, where it's like literally your junk, literally your leg,
mhm,
literally your like kneecap is offsides, and it's like no goal. And it's
I
like,
know.
could it have been one of those situations where like one finger is off and they're like, yo, no goal, and then
Imagine
it's just a
saying
whole different game. You know what I
Imagine
mean?
saying, "I wish I was a couple inches smaller, and then we would have won the World Cup." You know,
No,
I don't.
exactly. It's just crazy to think about that. Like that it's just not the same. You know what I mean? Especially with
Yeah,
international like tournaments like this. So, I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, he scored. It looked clean to me. It looked good, and yeah, I mean, Alvarez, right? I mean,
yeah. He's
solid,
the
solid
captain,
header.
so
Yeah.
honestly, it's nice to see the two big guys. I would say Alvarez and uh Raul showing
Yeah.
up. So it gives me a bit of hope for the World Cup. Obviously, that'll be a lot different.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I hope the U.S. and Mexico do well in the World Cup. Whenever it comes down to it, whoever ends up going the farthest between Mexico and the U.S. is usually who I'm going to root for. Aside
Right.
from
Yeah.
like my favorite player, like in Argentina, like obviously when they were in the final, I was
Oh,
rooting
this
for
right
them.
here too.
Bro, let's go back.
Oh, this
Like
right here.
this is literally like this is the second time I've literally said it. Like, watch, it's literally just the ball over the top. I don't know if the defenders are like expecting the goalie to do something, and like you said, why doesn't he come out more aggressive? Like, look, right over the top. The defenders are like, I mean, this one was kind of close, but
Well,
they
this
got
was they
lucky.
tried to get the offsides try.
Yeah,
That's what 100% what they're
yeah,
doing. But the goalie, I
yeah.
mean, he's just caught straight off guard.
Yeah, and that was a really good run from who's number 9? That's Tillman. Is that
Yeah,
Tillman? Yeah, Tillman.
yeah, that's Tillman. Yeah, I got
And
Augumang.
Augumane just comes back after, and
This is the last one. Huh? This is the last play of the game.
yeah, no, it's not the last play. I think they had a few last. Yeah, like look
This
at
no,
this.
yeah, this right here.
This is a
This was it.
crazy.
This was it.
Yeah,
This could have
this was
been
the
the
play of the
tie.
game.
That right there, it could have been.
Let's
It
go
could have been
back.
2-2 right here. He gets
Yeah,
past him, much
Montes.
easier shot. Yeah,
Montes just gets that freaking tackle, dude. Those are
that
the
was,
freaking. Look at that.
dude. That is
And
like that should
that's
go on a freaking poster, dude. That was
yeah.
insane.
And those are the. Let's finish this off because this is where the final whistle blows. So that's probably like the most important play of the game outside of the goals, just
Right,
because if he missed that tackle somehow, I mean, we'll never know, but he could have
right.
got the game tying goal. They go to
Yep.
overtime. Nobody knows what happens,
Mm-hmm.
but that's a defender's goal moment. You
Yep.
know, like
Yeah.
I literally stopped this from happening. So
Yeah.
that was a crazy tackle from Montes, and I mean, shout out to the U.S. for staying in it for as long as they did. I feel like Mexico should have finished it a lot sooner, especially with kind of
The amount of
the B
opportunities. Yeah.
team they were playing, you know,
Yeah.
and the opportunities they had. But I mean, for the U.S., this should be a good indication that you know what we don't have our strongest players, but we have
Mm-hmm.
up and coming stars that can't. I don't want to say can't compete with the likes of Mexico because they did,
Yeah.
but obviously Mexico was the better team yesterday.
Yes.
Um, but it shows that they have a lot of good players that they can develop their team into something
Yeah. They have
bigger.
good subs. They have good.
Yeah,
They have a good bench
yeah,
going into the World
yeah.
Cup. So yeah, hats off to them. Hats off to you, Mexico. Way to get that win. The winningest team in CONCACAF. Like amazing. Obviously, U.S. Couple things to work on here and there, but I don't think in any way is this like a letdown. Is it in any way is this a bad, performance for them? Given in this
Mhm.
this tournament. So good for them, right? We'll kind of see what happens, and I think the final tuning is going to be sometime in November with like some last friendlies,
Mhm.
and then obviously next year maybe a couple friendlies before the World Cup, but that's pretty much it,
Yeah,
right? So
because they did say during the broadcast that obviously their next competitive game won't be until
right, yeah,
June of next
yep,
year,
exactly,
the opening match of the World Cup. So
yeah,
we'll see how that game goes. That I feel with the way things are going, that game will show a lot about the team. If they
hmm
come out doing well, then because I don't think we don't know who they're playing yet, right? Just because they haven't decided
no,
everything. So
yeah, I don't
I
think
guess
so.
that first game, whether they play a big team or a smaller team. Hopefully, you can see if they play it like a big team, like a big contender team. Hopefully, you see them whether they lose or win, draw. You would like to see them be competitive with a big team and not look like they shouldn't be on the same field as them. And if they play smaller team, like somebody that you would assume like based off rankings is lower than them, you would hope to see them dominate that game or come out with the win. And I feel like either way it goes, that first game will definitely show whether this team can compete or not.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it all depends on kind of how they play. So, we'll kind of see what happens. So, good on you guys, Mexico. Good on you, U.S., for kind of showing up for that final. So, we'll see what happens. We'll kind of keep tabs on them. But that was the Gold Cup. Good stuff right there. We'll go right into the next couple of things here. We'll go kind of quickly because we're already kind of going over time here. But the FIFA Club World Cup is still going on, ladies and gentlemen. It is still, something that is pretty hot, pretty much being talked about quite a bit in the soccer world right now. But we got some games going on tomorrow. Fluminense versus Chelsea. And then on Wednesday, we have PSG and Real Madrid.
We did talk about we weren't watching. We were talking about the Al Hilal game and the Man City game, and I feel like all three of us were kind of like, "Oh yeah, City's gonna win this game." Pretty much, we were kind of, and obviously we were proven wrong. So
yeah, isn't that crazy? And then and then Fluminense comes in here and beats Al Hilal. So kind of nuts. I mean, sounds like Fluminense could beat Manchester City, which is nuts.
City, if they beat City, they could beat Chelsea and make it to the final against PSG or Madrid. So
for sure,
we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be interesting. I mean, if you kind of look at these right now, Fluminense, basically the only team here that's not like one of those top 5 leagues. A lot of talk going on with Thiago Silva being on this Fluminense team, really just kind of being that captain that this whole team needs just to kind of get through a lot of these games and make sure they're being competitive. So that's pretty cool to see too.
You know how crazy it'll be for Fluminense to make it to the final against PSG just to have Silva go against his old team. It'll be a nice little.
Yeah, it would be nuts. I do believe Fluminense can beat Chelsea right now.
Yeah, I don't like.
Let's take a guess. So I'm gonna go Fluminense.
I would think so too. Ooh, obviously, I would say that Chelsea fans are more active on this
for sure.
But I don't see this matchup as Chelsea has to win this. I see it as anybody could win. People will obviously say that, bro, no way Reyes James is out again. I don't know if you know about Reyes James, but this guy does not play games. He plays 2 games, gets injured for 6 months, and then freaking
physical discomfort.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see if he plays. But yeah, obviously people will want or assume that Chelsea's gonna play, win. But we'll see because I see this as a bit more evenly matched than you would think. And then I don't know if you know this or not, but João Pedro, the guy, their striker, played for Fluminense back in 2019.
Really?
Yeah, see,
yeah, he did. Look at that.
Yeah, so he's going back against his old team. So we'll see how that goes. And no, Thiago Silva. I was gonna say Thiago Silva played for Chelsea, but he didn't. It was his teammate. Oh, why can't I think of his name? David Silva? Something David. People are gonna roast me in the comments for not knowing the David. But he did play for Chelsea on a free transfer. See, what the heck? There we go. Well, yeah. But I was thinking of the other guy. You know who I'm talking about? The guy with the afro. His freaking center back.
David Silva, yeah.
Is it Silva?
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was. But I was also thinking of the Spaniard guy.
Yeah,
because they both have the name David Silva. No, it's not David Silva. I looked it up. It's David Silva. It's not David Silva.
Then what is it?
I'll find it though. His last name's David something, bro.
It's someone I remember.
Something David. But yeah.
Anyways, yeah, I think going into this one, I think I have Fluminense winning. So I really hope they beat Chelsea. This will be going on tomorrow at 1. So that'll be an exciting game David Luiz. Brain fart, dude. Fluminense Chelsea, going to be an exciting one. And then on Wednesday, July 9th, we have PSG versus Real Madrid, this is another good one. I mean, 2 powerhouse teams, really. PSG just coming off of that UEFA Champions League win. But, you're going up against Real Madrid, which...
Mbappe versus his old team, too, bro. What is this?
Yeah, true. What is this? This is like a big... old players kind of coming in, huh? Like playing their older teams.
I'm not trying to be a hater, and I'm not saying this as a Barca fan, like for reals.
Okay.
But I just feel like PSG have been a bit too good right now.
They have been very good, for sure.
That I would personally, any other time, even as a Barca fan, I would pick Madrid over PSG. But I don't know why. I just feel like PSG might win this game. Like like if there was ever a time for them to like play well against Madrid, this would be the time. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I won't be surprised if Real Madrid wins and makes it to the final. I'll be disappointed. Um, but I
Sure.
do see PSG winning this game,
Got
and
it.
that's just coming from an unbiased opinion.
Yeah, I think, yes, you're 100% right. PSG's been lights out. They've just been playing super well against everybody and anybody, and they're just coming off of a great season. But I think experience is going to get the best of them here with Real Madrid. I just think they have so many studs over there. And I think,
I just
they're
feel
built for
like
these moments. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And call it karma,
yeah.
call it whatever you want. Like the soccer gods, like they love Real Madrid and they will put them in the final just because they're such a rich and like not rich like per se, but like rich history, culture, like club. And I can see them going through. Like I just think it's going to happen. So
We'll see how it goes because the other thing is Hoyson. I don't know if you know who that is, but that's their recent center back acquisition. He got a red card. So if you go to the Dortmund game here, just to the bottom, real quick, and you go to their left center back in the lineup, yeah, down one, that's Garcia. Yeah, Hoyson. He got a red card. He's only 20, but he
dang.
is a great defender. They just
Mm-hmm.
got him from Bournemouth over the summer, and I believe he's played every single one of their games in the Club World Cup, and he's
Dang.
a really good defender. He did get a red card, and the thing that Real Madrid struggled with for pretty much the entire season was their center backs, which was the reason they got him.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how this next game goes, missing one of their important pieces because they usually take Jimenez or what is his name, Camavinga. Those are the two people that they usually drop down. But Camavinga's gone, so they might have to drop Jimenez or start Raul Asensio. Looks like
Dang.
he came in the 85th minute, so we'll see. We'll see what they end up doing, but it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see.
Yeah, I think it'll be an interesting game. I think I'm gonna like that. Like whatever it is, I'm definitely gonna be watching. So that should be a fun one to kind of tune into. But we'll look into that, and then we'll see. I think in my perspective, Fluminense versus Real Madrid for the final. Come Sunday, July 13th. So sounds like you are more what?
I would say I'd agree with you on Fluminense. I just feel like they've been playing really well as a team, so I can see them beating Chelsea, and I am gonna edge it to PSG this time. But
Nice.
no,
And then
no.
who wins out of those four?
Out of those four, okay, if PSG makes it to the final, they win. If Real Madrid makes it to the final, they win. So I think the winner is between the PSG and Real Madrid side.
Agreed.
And the reason for me, PSG has just been the best team
Yeah.
this year. Aside from Barcelona, I feel like and that's not even like
No, I hear you.
objectively, Barcelona has been one of the better teams. PSG has been the best team, and if they don't win, just because of what you said, Real Madrid's experience in these big moments, I feel like they will be able to pull it out of their black magic hat and call the freaking FIFA president or do whatever they do normally and get the win.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Get
I
the
think the
soccer
winner
gods on
is
their side.
between PSG and Real Madrid.
Yeah. But how cool would it be if Fluminense wins?
Yeah, I mean,
It'd be amazing.
I'm trying to learn Portuguese, so
Yeah. Either way, Club World Cup, lots of action going on. I mean, basically going on the tail end of that, so we'll kind of keep track of that and kind of see how that goes. But next episode we'll kind of discuss that and kind of see who ends up being the winner. So excited to see those games. And then lastly here, before we kind of go into our picks, the more in the MLS side, the U.S. Open Cup. The U.S. Open Cup is going to be going on with some games tomorrow. Let's see, double checking. Yep, with some games tomorrow, which should be exciting to watch. Let's go ahead and take a look. This is also a reason where some of the games are going to be a little bit funky this week. But if we're looking at some of these, we have some MLS action. So Minnesota taking on Chicago Fire, San Jose taking on Austin FC, and then on Wednesday, July 9th, we do have Philadelphia Union versus the New York Red Bulls and Nashville against DC United for this one. So some good games here. I think just kind of looking into this one, this is a pretty good game, pretty good matchup. I think this one could really go in either way. Minnesota and Chicago have been relatively kind of in the middle. I might have to give it to Minnesota here, but for me on tomorrow, this might be the game to watch for this U.S. Open Cup quarterfinal. So I like this game. I like Minnesota going into this one, being in Minnesota. Not a lot of injuries, coming off of a pretty strong past 3 weeks. But, look, they're, tied up in all of their meetings. So, this could really go either way. But I'm going to go, Minnesota. Most people are going to go Minnesota. But, should be interesting for this one.
I think I'd put Chicago over them.
Interesting. Okay.
Is this one and this is knockouts, right? This is one and done now. Okay.
Yep, this is one and done. So whoever wins will go on to the semifinals. And then this one could also go either way a little bit. San Jose versus Austin FC. So Austin could win this one just because San Jose's been so inconsistent. But this could also be a bit of an interesting game. The one interesting one here too. Oh no, never mind. I thought it was Philly Nashville just because they played last week, but. I think these ones are a little bit more one-sided. I would say Philly and Nashville, very strong sides. This one could get a little hairy, could get a little dicey, but Philly's a little bit too good to not be able to beat the Red Bulls. So that's how I see it.
But I believe they play on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken.
Who, Philly?
Yeah, right?
I think so. I think most of these guys are going to play Saturday as well. So, they'll play. Oh, they're playing both. Look at this, back to back.
Yeah, because that's what I was going to say. I'm like, do you think they start their starters? What do you think is more important to them?
Trophies. So, I think, yes, they start their starters both games. 100%. I think the way that they're looking at this is, hey, let's get a trophy like U.S. Open Cup. Like, it's the quarterfinals at this point. It's win or go home. Like, you have to go for it at this point. Any team really that's in it at this point has to go for it. So I think Philly plays their one team. New York will play their one team. Do they rest a couple guys on Saturday, depending on how it goes? Maybe. But I would think that a lot of these guys are going to be like, hey, let's just, we're top of the Eastern Conference. We're, in the quarterfinals. Let's go after it, right? Let's get the Supporter Shield. Let's get the U.S. Open Cup. Let's get the MLS Cup. Like, and Leagues Cup's coming up. Like, I think they go for it, in my opinion. You think the same way?
I forget that. Yeah, no. I mean, yeah, with them being so high up in the leaderboards, they definitely have games to spare. So I guess, I wouldn't be too surprised if they do it. And I would definitely pick Philly over the New York Red Bulls just because the Red Bulls are so here and there.
Yeah, exactly. And then Nashville's just been playing red hot. So I don't think they have any trouble with DC.
Oh, bro. DC, they should just leave. They should just tell them they don't want to play on Wednesday anymore. If somehow they win, dude, I'm quitting the podcast.
That would be nuts.
I'm like, you guys will never see me ever again on the internet if DC United wins.
That would be insane for sure. Some U.S. Open Cup action. Going to be cool to watch that one as well. And then we'll kind of cover, kind of the semifinals, final. I don't have dates for that one, but we'll kind of get those and kind of keep track of that. But going into more MLS specific news, for those of you that have kind of been keeping track, Patrick Augimeng, which, Fern, how do you say it again?
Augustine? Augimeng? I got it now.
Augimeng? Something like that.
Patricio Agustin.
Exactly. His close relative from Tijuana.
Yeah.
Patrick Augimeng has been reported to officially sign with Derby County, which Derby County is still in the championship or no?
I believe they may be. I know they're not very good.
Yeah, I don't think they're amazing, but they basically confirmed it at this point that Patrick Augimeng from Charlotte FC is going to Derby County, reportedly on $8 million with about $2 million of add-on bonuses. So basically a raise from, which is insane to think about. He got a raise from basically $104,000 a year. So now he's going to be making 1.2 to 1.5 million a year, going from 104K a year, which is insane. Like, who's not going to take that money, right? But a little bit sad to not be able to see him, in the MLS anymore. But
True.
this is another one of those things, right, where it's like, hey, when players get so good and they get so big and they start kind of getting their name out there, they leave. They don't want to stay in the MLS because the MLS ain't got no money, and so they go into Premier League, Championship, whatever, and they get a bag. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean the nice thing for what the heck? I literally just saw who he played for, and now I can't think off the top of my head. And
Charlotte?
you just said it, Charlotte. What the heck?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they also put a sell-on clause during so whenever if Derby County ends up selling him, he goes there, scores 50 goals, and they sell him for $100 million. Then they should get some money from that as well.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that'll be cool. Interesting to see. I mean, like I said, a little bit sad for seeing him kind of go, but I mean, I'm glad that he's getting better, going to be able to go overseas, and just kind of get more experience, get a lot more in front of some of these top talents, kind of in Europe. But again, it's sad to see these guys leave, and I just think it's going to happen more, right? You're going to see names like a Diego Luna, names like Sebastian Berhalter, names like a Brian White, Jaden Nilsson, like some of those guys you're just going to start seeing kind of leaving just because they've been playing lights out, right? So it's a little sad, but good on you, Patrick Augumang. Like, congrats. You know what I mean?
Yeah. At
Hell
the
of
end
a
of
raise.
True. At the end of the day, however you look at it, money always talks. And
Yeah.
with the caps that the MLS has, which
Yeah.
again, they are good for the league currently as it stands, but it does suck because once you do see those players, like you mentioned, they're gonna leave.
Yeah.
Like they kind of have to. You kind of have
Mhm.
to. You can't say no. Kind of like you said with
Yeah.
the amount of money, what, 100,000 to $8 million over however many years. That's a big
Wild.
race. You can't say no to
Yeah.
that.
You're 10xing your money, dude. It's insane. So yeah, dude, it's kind of nuts to see. So good on him. We'll kind of see how he does. I just hope he gets better, and then that way he just kind of performs even more for the U.S. men's national team. So congrats to him. Another interesting one that's kind of been coming up. I don't know if I'm sure you've been seeing it, maybe potentially. I don't know if you kind of keep up, but Leo Messi, potentially leaving in the next maybe potentially 6 months. But it has been reported that Al Ali, not Al Nasser or Al
Hilal.
Hilal, these interesting names here, but they are interested in signing Lionel Messi for reportedly like some B money, right? Not some M's, but some B's, which is nuts. But I believe that he's open to negotiations just because, over the next 6 months, he's potentially looking at wanting to get into a bit of a higher league going into the World Cup, potentially. So that's been kind of coming up. Not sure, you're a pretty big Messi fan. I'm kind of curious what your thoughts are with that and him like potentially leaving Miami.
Honestly, if he wants to go to a bigger league, I wouldn't go to the Saudi league. Like he could definitely be playing for like a team out in Europe, like for sure.
Right. Yeah.
You know what? And then this is just kind of me like saying like I personally think the MLS is bigger than the Saudi league. I don't know what you think.
Agree.
The Saudi league does have more money. That doesn't make you bigger though. I think
Yeah.
if you want to be in the know-how, like if you want to be out, if you want to play against good teams, you're not going to the Saudi league, unfortunately.
Right.
As well as you can say the same for the MLS. You know what? I mean, I can't deny it. But if he does want to play for a big team, he should go out to Europe. Which, if he gets in, finds a team that can suit him well, he can do good out there. He may not be what he was before, but I definitely wouldn't join the Saudi league. If he joins the Saudi league, it's just like that other guy that's just there for the money. He's not there for
Yeah.
to be playing in big games and stuff like that,
Yeah.
because the MLS sells more tickets than the Saudi League does. They have
Yeah.
more people in attendance than the Saudi League does. So it doesn't make sense to say you want to play for a big team, and then
Yeah. It's
move
it's
to the
kind of
Saudi League.
giving him like a way out to like saying, hey, I'm leaving because of the competition, but in reality, when they offer me $2 billion or X $1 billion, like that's why you're leaving. You know what I mean? Like like you said, money talks. I wouldn't blame him. I mean, could you imagine signing a contract for $2 billion for like 1 or 2 years? Like that's insane, absolutely insane amount of money, right? But I also think it's one of those things where MLS has to look into it and say, hey, look, we're losing players because of the amount of money we are giving them, and we can give these players more money. Like I know these teams, these MLS teams, like they're very valuable. They can easily pay their guys a lot more money and bring players here, keep them here, develop them here. Like it just needs more time. We give it more time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no,
So
definitely. And I mean, like I said, it makes sense. They don't want any teams to kind of make dumb financial decisions and be like, we're going to give this much money to
right,
this person. And they're like, oh, crap. No, we got no money. We're out
yeah, we
of
spent too
business.
much.
Yeah.
But could a Rodrigo de Paul potentially be the reason that Messi stays? You know what I mean? It is reported that Inter Miami is pursuing a signing with Rodrigo de Paul from Atletico de Madrid. So that could be an interesting, signing if it does get done. Is it one of those things where maybe they get him to sign and then Messi stays, or is it, hey, Messi's leaving, let's replace him with Rodrigo de Paul?
No.
Like, you know,
If they're getting Rodrigo de Paul, they're definitely trying to keep Messi happy and keep him in the team. I don't know how they'll do it. I don't know if you've kind of paid attention to how they're working the contracts around there, but I'm assuming that Messi, Alba, Suarez, and Busquets kind of all together were like, obviously Messi has to be making the most money, but
mm-hmm.
is it 2 extra spots for designated players?
Yeah, they get three. Yeah,
So they've kind of been like flip flopping. Like I think Alba and Suarez were in it last year, and then I think it's Busquets and Suarez this year, where they're kind of like, oh, we're taking turns getting money because I mean I don't know their financial situations, but I can't imagine they
they need it.
care. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
But I would assume if they got DePaul, they would have to either
Mm-hmm.
get rid of one of those that isn't Messi, and get somebody else. But the way things, the conversations, kind of Suarez has already kind of been like, this might be my last year, regardless.
Interesting.
So they could kind of like take Suarez out of the picture and put Rodrigo in there, and then kind of figure out the striker situation from there.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, either way, it's putting pressure on the MLS and kind of seeing how they can kind of work a lot of these contracts, work a lot of this money, a lot of these salary caps. If you want to keep the best player in the league in the world in the MLS, like you gotta pay attention to what's going on and kind of what some of these players and teams are having to do in order to keep a talent like Messi, in order to keep talents like anybody else,
Yeah.
happy, right? So
Mm-hmm. I
we got
mean,
to figure some stuff out.
personally, if he did leave, and I don't know, but I could be wrong, but I don't think that if he does leave, he'll leave to the Saudi league. But that's just me.
Right. I would hope not, because I mean at that point it's like, hey, like what are we doing? Like why are what is MLS doing? You know what I mean? So I don't know. It'll be interesting. I hope it doesn't go there, but only time will tell. I hope he just stays in the MLS. We'll see what happens though.
He can't leave until I see him.
We'll have to find something to go to, man. We got to find a game and get it done. You know what I mean? Sooner rather than later, because at this
RSL
point,
make it to the MLS Cup final because he'll be there.
yeah, there you go. Um, Okay, perfect. Sweet. So that were some pretty good headlines. We've covered a lot of different topics here on the episode today, but we'll kind of go into some of the MLS action for this week. We do have some early games on Wednesday. Your boys, your Miami boys, are going to be playing on Wednesday against New England Revolution, and then we do have LAFC versus Colorado that same day. I wouldn't necessarily I wouldn't necessarily say that one of these games is like a must watch. But New England has been, pretty decent here and there. Inter Miami, though, I mean, they've just been playing super well, especially returning from the Club World Cup. I just think that kind of gave them a new spark, to just kind of, go after the MLS Cup. So, I mean, I give Inter Miami this one, even if it is in New England, but that's how I see it. I don't see these Wednesday games as too like, hey, this could go either way.
Yeah, it's just Inter Miami playing catch up at this point. They've missed so many games. I believe they're what, like 5 games behind everybody else or something like that.
Yeah, there's 17, so
Yeah,
three or four.
17. Yeah, so four games, 5 before the one that they played this past week. So we'll see how it goes. It's going to be a bit of difficult weeks coming up for Inter Miami. I don't know how they're going to do it because they play the
Wednesday
9th
and Saturday.
Saturday, and then they play Wednesday again, and then they play Saturday again. And again, this is what happens when you're busy because then they have to play. I guess they have a week off, but then they have to play the Leagues Cup against Atlas.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how they manage the team with what games, because I would assume Nashville SC is going to be a big game for them on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all these games are going to be big because this is how they're going to get up in the leaderboards now that they're coming back. But what games do we feel like we need to start Messi? Because I can guarantee you right now, don't buy tickets expecting to see Messi play in all of these games because he's not going to play in all of them.
Yeah,
He's gonna rest. He played all the games I think he played 90 minutes for all the games in the Club World Cup, and now he's coming back to this. He played 90 minutes last week. I cannot see him playing Wednesday, or if he does, not the full 90. But we'll see how it goes. But that'll be an interesting game. LAFC also has some catch up to do. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, like I said, Wednesday doesn't look too crazy. Saturday is going to be a little bit more interesting though because we do have the Hell is Real 2.0 of the season, right? So we do have FC Cincinnati against Columbus Crew, which is always a crazy rivalry. FC Cincinnati and Columbus, both just extremely good teams at this point, really, just like as anybody could, expect, right? FC Cincinnati is sitting pretty up top of the Eastern Conference. Columbus not far behind with the 4th place, but really just 4 points separates them. Like, that's crazy, dude.
Oh, it is 4 points. Stupid. And last time they played, it was a 1-1 draw, so hopefully it's a more interesting game.
Yeah. This one is in TQL, so it's going to be in Cincinnati's place. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. Honestly, this could go either way. I do want to give FC Cincinnati this one. I think they're going to be able to pull this one out. But hey, hell is real. Another one that's, the second version of that game this season. So it's going to be a fun one. I think this is a game to watch for this upcoming Saturday. What do you think? What are you kind of looking at?
Yeah, I mean, aside from the game we already talked about, the Inter Miami Nashville, I'm looking at these games coming up. Nothing honestly like super crazy is pointing out to me. I feel like those two are the best games coming up. It'll be interesting to see the Vancouver Whitecaps with their returning players to see how well they do. And what was the other game? And then Chicago, San Diego could also be another good game just because Chicago has been pretty all right this season, and to see how San Diego bounces back from that Houston Dynamo loss. So that'll be the games I'd be interested in, especially with when's the last time that San Diego lost. Prior to that, the last time they had lost was in May to the Sounders, previous to last week. So we'll see how they bounce back.
This Chicago team, I mean, they're fighting for playoffs, right? They're in ninth position right now, so like they need every point that they can get. So this is not, the Eastern Conference is so stacked right now. It's honestly insane. Like, you can say DC down is like pretty much out, but like literally from New England above, like all these teams are very like high quality teams. So it's gonna be very interesting to see who gets in and who doesn't. But I agree. I think this will be a very good matchup.
Yeah.
Two very strong teams. But yeah, Cincinnati, Columbus, gonna be a one to watch. Inter Miami, Nashville, another one to watch. And the rest of these, I mean, we'll see. We'll see kind of what happens. And then we'll kind of cap it off right for Sunday night soccer. St. Louis against Portland. St. Louis,
put a different
obviously, honestly, not having the best season, right? This is another one of those games where I think they're playing this one a little bit earlier, probably. Actually, I think it might be after the Club World Cup final because the Club World Cup will be that Sunday, right? So I think it's hard to give St. Louis the edge on this one, but Portland's definitely looking a lot better. They are going to be in St. Louis, so this could go any way, honestly. And it's 2-2 in all time head to heads. But this is interesting too because look, Anthony is out until at least mid-July, and I think he's one of their better players. Same with Jonathan Rodriguez; he's also out, so that'll be interesting. This list is like endless for St. Louis, which honestly is kind of one of the reasons they're not playing so well. But this is interesting. Could Portland win this one? Can St. Louis win this one? Ooh, I don't know. Honestly, now that I'm kind of like I'm second guessing myself. I'm not sure what you're thinking though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of agree with the votes right there. And say that Portland will win. So I don't see St. Louis winning this game, and they do play after the Club World Cup.
Okay,
The Club World
interesting.
Cup's at 1.
Got it. Okay, yeah, it'll be interesting to see that one then. But yeah, I mean that's the kind of cap off the week. I wouldn't say there's anything too crazy with most of the games, but obviously there's some key games here. For the most part, it looks like the table. Yeah, FC Cincinnati sitting up top, but this, like I said, Eastern Conference is just absolutely stacked with these, top 6 teams. Like six teams I would say are just absolutely stacked from Inter Miami all the way to FC Cincinnati. Really can go any way. And then the Western Conference, it's always pretty competitive, but I feel like it's not as competitive this year because you do have like a San Jose up here with has been pretty like inconsistent. Seattle also has been pretty inconsistent. It's just a little bit tough, right, to kind of say that the Western Conference is as tough as it's been.
I hate to say it, but the fact that RSL could still possibly get into the playoffs, kind of, they've been playing pretty bad. So we'll see, but
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
the Eastern Conference. I wouldn't be surprised if an Eastern Conference team wins the MLS this year, just because of how stacked they all seem to be. So
yeah, I would definitely agree with that. So we'll see what happens. Still plenty of games to be had. We're gonna take a look, after the fact, just kind of see how match day 23 goes down. But those are kind of our look into the match day 23. We'll kind of go into that next week. But that's been the Crack Soccer Podcast, episode number 21. Any final thoughts, my guy? Any final things on your mind? Other than the screaming in the background.
no, I don't have any final thoughts today.
No worries, man. Yeah, we'll kind of keep track of everything. Lots of soccer kind of ending here and there with the Gold Cup, Club World Cup coming to the end, US Open Cup also kind of coming to the end here. MLS, All Stars kind of coming up as well. So we'll make sure to kind of cover that. And then the US Open Cup too, and then the Leagues Cup. So plenty of MLS action, coming up here, and then a couple other leagues already starting up, like Liga MX and a couple other European leagues. So plenty of stuff to talk about. If you guys ever want us to talk about a little bit about other leagues, happy to do that, but going to stay focused on the MLS while we can. So again, episode number 21 from the Crack Soccer Podcast. Appreciate y'all. Like, subscribe, share our stuff on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Comment on our stuff. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know if you guys agree, disagree with what we're talking about. And we'll, respond as needed. But again, thank you very much for tuning in. Peace.